It is quite condensed, and the challenge we are having is that it does not take into account the budget process that is scheduled for the last day, directly when Parliament returns from recess. So members should take note that this time frame does not account for the consideration of budgets, which is a slight or relatively big concern. So members, the idea is that we start with the concluding remarks by Senior Counsel and the workshop by the legal team on the 13th of April. That's then followed by 3 days of deliberations on hearings by members. Then on the 20th of April, we'll have the draft preliminary report circulated to members. Thereafter, from the 21st until the 23rd of April, we will have the consideration of the draft preliminary report of the committee. Thereafter, on the 24th of April, we will adopt the preliminary report and circulate it to the affected persons, and this is if it's required. The deadline for responses will then be on the 7th of May, 2026. The committee will consider the responses on the 8th of May. Thereafter, on the 11th of May, the draft final report will be circulated to members. The day on the 13th of May, there will be deliberations on the draft final report. And on the 14th of May, it is envisaged that the report be adopted by the committee. Just as a note underneath here is that in the event that no audi alteram partem process is required, the committee could essentially adopt its final report on the 24th of April. So as I stated here, members, the time schedule does not consider the annual performance plans and budgets because there's quite a bit of pressure on the finalization of the ad hoc committee and the adoption of the final report of the committee. I've just here also put it in a calendar view, which is often good to see all at once how it will be scheduled. So I've just put in the dates to show the day of the meeting or of the item, and that this is how it is envisaged. However, members, I would like to urge that we do consider amending the proposed timeframes to account for the upcoming recess and then also the budget and annual board hearings, which will then naturally delay the adoption of the committee report towards more the end of May, beginning of June. But naturally, this is for the deliberation of by members. And Chair, with that I conclude and for Chair, sorry. Then I conclude on this note, Chair, for the committee's deliberation on the possible end date of the ad hoc committee. But currently, this will be a workable solution to conduct the deliberations and hearings and draft the report. Chair, but in saying that, members, it does not include the the budget hearings or the APP, and that is scheduled to happen between the 22nd of April up until the 8th of May. I know the Police Committee and the Justice Committee, the budget vote debates are scheduled for the 12th and the 19th of May, which put significant pressure on the two portfolio committees to conclude the budget hearings. But this is how it stands currently, and we are in the good hands of members to discuss and to maybe, have deliberations on this proposed time frame. Thank you, Chair. Sorry,
Are you done?
Chair, yes, that concludes my presentation.
What are your most important days that you want to emphasize here?
Chair,
Which is the date that members must always remember that this is the date on which the draft report will be released?
as it stands currently, the idea is to have the final report done and adopted by the 14th of May, and that if the alterum partem process is not required, the adoption date could be on the 24th of April. But Chair, I do want to really indicate, and I'm not sure about the deadline or extension date, but the budget hearings and associated process is a really big concern for the portfolio committees to meet, and this will be during this process or these dates from the 22nd of April up until the 8th of May. So, Chair, during deliberations, it should be kept in mind by members that there will be significant pressure on the affected portfolio committees to conclude its budget processes. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. The legal team.
Sorry, Honourable Chair, is that for me or Andile? Parliamentary legal team? Or the evidence leaders?
Between you and Andy.
Chair, from the evidence leader side, the time frame and the timetable that Nicolette has outlined, it looks doable, and we always say it's subject to us receiving all the transcripts of the evidence, which have been coming in a bit quicker in recent days, in the past week, but we need that to be speeded up, Chair. So in the meantime, we're working from our existing records, the statements, all the statements drafted, all the annexes to those statements, the exhibit bundles of documents that we've received, and so on. We're working on that, but we need to obviously finalize it with reference to the transcripts, so that we maintain the integrity of the report and the accuracy of the evidence given.
Yes, I got a report that yesterday I was informed that you received the transcripts last week.
Chair, you asking me or telling me? We haven't received all the transcripts yet.
Are there those
think
that you received last?
I think there is a report on the issue of the transcripts. I think you requested one from Dr. Ntuli for today. Perhaps they can report on it, Honorable Chair.
Yeah, but remember, you are the ones who are compiling the evidentiary overview. The meeting wants to get a confirmation from you if you have those transcripts or if there is still a problem.
I think I'm reporting I speak subject to correction, Chair, but I'm reporting that not all the transcripts have been made available yet.
That is the report that we wanted to get, because yesterday I made a follow-up on the matters of the transcripts. And I was informed that the transcripts have been sent out last week to yourselves. And that is basically why we need to get a confirmation from yourself whether you got the transcripts, so that if you don't have the transcripts, we will then no longer make follow-up with the officials, but go straight to the Secretary of the National Assembly for him to know, because he would have made a follow-up with those that are reporting to him. And yesterday, I did not talk to the Secretary. I spoke to Dr. Tuli. She said that the transcripts were sent out to you last week. And if you don't have them, it's a matter which now the Secretary to the National Assembly must know that the report that we got in this meeting, or the report that the chairperson got, was that you have received the transcripts and you came to the meeting and said that you did not get all the transcripts.
Chair, could I just request that either Bonani or Andile assist with that query? As I understand it, and it could be that I haven't looked at the last transcripts that were sent to us, because as I said, we're still working through our own statements and other annexures. But from what I can see, we haven't received all the transcripts. And if I'm wrong, then I apologize, Chair.
Can I come in, Chairperson?
Yes, Andile, you are welcome. The reason why I'm asking this question is because we must get to the bottom of this matter and know whether the transcripts are there or they are not there. Because if I had known yesterday, I would have called Mr. Carson. But I was informed that the legal team has received the transcripts last week.
Yes, Chairperson.
Yeah, you are allowed.
Oh, okay, thanks, Chair. Good afternoon again, Chairperson, to honorable members and to my colleagues. Chairperson, the facts on the table are such that we only have 44% of the transcripts. 46%, I'm sorry. In other words, 54% of the transcripts have not been received. And of course, Chairperson, you will recall that this is a matter I've raised even with the Speaker, together with Mr. Klaas, the Secretary to the National Assembly. I even raised it with Mr. Klaas, or even yesterday, to say that for us, this is not a tick box exercise. This report will be the official record of Parliament. It must have integrity. And I think even members themselves are going to require transcripts as part of the reporting process, because Chairperson, even if you want to ascertain as to who said what and when and so on, that can only be done via the transcripts. So, Chair, the facts on the table are such that we only have 46% of the transcripts. We don't have 54% of the transcripts. And I think there's a report which was sent to your office which outlines the exact dates where those transcripts are either available or not available. But Chairperson, perhaps to amplify also the point which my colleague Nicolette was presenting, the presentation which Nicolette was presenting here. The reason, Chairperson, perhaps there was no one speaking on the request for an extension, is that you will recall that this agenda, Chair, was prepared for last week's meeting, which did not sit because of issues of quorum and so on. Now, Chair, you will recall that we wrote to the Speaker requesting an extension up until the end of June. And of course, the Speaker has responded to that yesterday, saying that even though he knows that in terms of Rule 167F, I'm sorry, of the rules of the Assembly, committees determine their own working arrangements. But her feeling, Chairperson, is that, June is a bit far. And of course, she proposed, and I'm using the word proposed, Chair, advisably, in line with the rules. She then proposed that the date for the submission of the report to the House should be the 30th of April. And of course, I think what Nicolette is saying, Chairperson, is that given those realities, which she has already explained, is that Nicolette is basically requesting this committee meeting to accept that the report will be submitted to the House on the 14th of May. And I think Advocate Nomenarens is saying, from a point of view of the evidentiary overview, he is comfortable with that. But of course, he's flagging the issue of transcripts, which I think we still need to deal with. I'll leave it there, Chairperson. I think I've tried to clarify what the factual position is. Thanks.
What is the percentage of transcripts that have been received, or if you know for which month do you still have the transcripts outstanding?
Chairperson? Chair?
Hello?
Yes, can I maybe just address the issue of the transcripts? Maybe just to indicate that we've got transcripts from from October and November. We also have transcripts from January. The transcripts for February and March, those are outstanding, but the recordings are with the service provider that is transcribing the records. And every now and then they would send what they've done. I had requested them that instead of waiting to complete the whole batch, they should just send whatever they complete, so that in the meantime the legal team can start working on what they have. But it is true that not everything has been submitted, but the service provider is currently transcribing the records. In terms of the percentages, Chair, yes, I can confirm that it is less than 50, but as to what exactly, mathematics was not a strong point, for me. Yeah, I think that's all, Chair, that I can add.
Okay. I'm going to rotate the two items for discussion. In fact, there will be three, because Andile has also brought in the response of the Speaker into the items. So we will discuss the presentation by Nicolette, where she's essentially saying that everything can be done, including reporting by the 14th of May, and the response by the speaker extending until the 30th of April, and the presentation made by the legal team. Can we start with the African National Congress?
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, we take note of the proposal that has been tabled with an end date of May. And I think as the ANC, we agree with that date. It's a bit of an outlier for us. We would have preferred to have completed sooner, given that the work that remains is the work of drafting the report. However, given the explanations and the delays that have been proposed, we support the program as it currently stands. We have noted the issues that Nicolette has raised in relation to the pressure on members as it relates particularly to the budget processes, and we trust that with colleagues we'll be able to also rework and our schedules to ensure that we accommodate that. So we support the proposal to the second week of May, Chair. Thank you very much. I'm not sure if there are additions from the ANC. Thank you, Chair.
Do we have further additions from the ANC? Comrade,
Yes,
Honorable, is that the Chief Whip or Honorable Ngola?
isn't too Chair.
Honorable Tuli, the Chief Whip.
Yes. No, thanks, Chair. I want to agree with the recommendation made by Honorable Sangoni, but I also want to make a proposal in addition to it that in order to ensure that we adhere to the deadline of the 14th of May, can we also consider something that we haven't done, which we've been talking about, and that is to make use of some of the days that were ordinarily excluded on our plan throughout our tenure as we were dealing with the work of the ad hoc committee. Because I think that will allow us to really and effectively conclude not later than the 14th of May, of course, subject to what Nicolette was saying, that we might even complete by the 24th of April, but depending on the application of the rule that she mentioned, she envisaged that we may have to delay until the 14th of May. And therefore, Chair, as a result of that, I think we should ask you to go back and write to the Speaker in response to what she has written back to you to indicate that as a committee we met and practically this is what is before us. We are likely to finish on the 24th, subject to the following conditions, which if we do not meet, we will conclude on the 14th of May. And of course, here are the mitigating interventions to ensure that we don't prolong beyond the 14th of May. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Chief Whip, the MKP.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Chairperson, may I come in? I'm sorry for the interruption. Before you move from the ANC. Chair, assuming you're allowing me space, I just wanted to say it may be important if we get an explanation under which circumstances would the audi alterum partem rule not apply. I think we took it as part of the laws of natural justice. So I see there it was marked with an asterisk to say in the event we choose to dispose of it, when would it not apply, Chair, so that we can make our intervention in that regard. Thank you, Chairperson. We don't have a chairperson anymore.
Chairperson, I had the same problem. I was told that nobody had me before, so I'm not sure whether it's
Okay, I request that
Where's our stand-in chair?
members. I request that we locate the chair. I'm also on the way. We'll locate the chair. Can you give us 1 minute?
okay.
Can you proceed, Honorable Skosana, whilst we're locating the chair? Honorable Skosana? Members, can you hear me?
Yes, Chair. Acting Chair. We can.
Yes.
Honorable Skosana, can you proceed whilst we're locating the chair? Okay. Honorable Matthys?
Thank you, Chair. Oh, is DA not going? But I don't mind if we go.
We'd actually
Apologies,
like the
apologies.
opportunity to go, but you know.
Apologies,
It's okay.
apologies.
We overtaken. It's fine.
Members, wait.
Only in
No.
your dreams.
We've
No,
just
no, no.
called it here in the meeting.
And Honorable Skosana is back also. Honorable
Yes, I'm
Skosana,
here.
please proceed in the meantime. We have been calling for you, but you didn't hear us.
Yeah, because you said you are 1 minute, we are waiting for the chairperson, but it's fine. I just wanted to say, I agree with Honorable Nduli, the chief whip there. Though we, in fact, because for us, we as Umkondo Wesizo, we thought that this, perhaps the speaker, will propose that we extend this because we know there's a lot of issues which were left out here. Matters which came now later as well need to be attended. Whether we adjourn for now, maybe we'll come back again in August or September, because there's a lot of things which I've mentioned in the past to say correctional service was not done. The judiciary not done at all. We only concentrated on the police. And I think it's injustice to our people that what General Mkwanazi told us on the 6th of July. And the 14th, if we go up to the 14th, so be it. But as far as we are concerned, we are still raising the issue that we have not finished our job yet. And I think because of time, some members as well are tired of sitting here. But I guess that whatever we have established, what we're trying to probe in this ad hoc committee is very, very important. Like any other portfolio committee in Parliament, I think we can do justice by completing what we're supposed to have done, which have not been done. Hence, I'm saying that we need to complete this. We can't leave correctional service untouched. We can't leave the judiciary untouched. Then it means we are not resolving the problem. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. I don't know what happened to me. I just found myself out of the meeting.
Yeah, you can we can proceed
did you afford
to
the?
We can proceed to the DA now. The MK just concluded their input.
Yeah, I heard Honorable Kosan, the Democratic Alliance, Honorable Breitenbach.
Thank you, Chair. I don't I don't think that this program is doable at all. The Department of the Justice Portfolio Committee and the Police Portfolio Committee have got a lot of work that has to be done right now in the foreseeable future. And the same people who have to write this report are the people who have to do that work. And even if they work 24 hours a day, they can't get it done. It's impossible. It's humanly not possible to do it. And so to try and squeeze it into a program that is going to be acceptable now in terms of timeframes is a waste of time, because it will come to the 14th of May and either the report won't be ready or it won't be the quality that we would like to see, or we'll have to ask for yet another extension, which is becoming embarrassing. So I think we should all really be realistic, have a good look at the amount of work that needs to be done, see how long it takes us to have a meeting. We've made very little progress, and we've been meeting for 2 hours now. We've not really made any progress. So when it comes to debating the report, you can imagine how long that's going to be taking. And I just don't think the staff are already run ragged. Already they've been working unbelievably long hours. They've had to do an enormous amount of work, and now they're going to have to do their portfolio committee work plus this. It's not doable, Chair. So I don't think we're being realistic. And so I don't think that the date of the 14th of May is achievable. And I think we should honestly, we should be honest with each other and look at a date that's further down the line. Thank you.
Honorable Matthys.
Thank you, Chair. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm agreeing with the DA on this one. We agree in terms of being realistic on the amount of work that is going to go into this.
Very well done.
Whoa, okay, Honorable Breitenberg. But if we use an example of how long it took for us to resolve the terms of reference, this has been a very robust committee. It's not going to be a rubber stamp that the technical team or even the evidence leader is going to produce a report and we are just going to rubber stamp. We will also be engaging, I'm sure, while I know as the economic freedom fighters, we'll be engaging our attorneys. There is a lot of information that we need to go through. We also do know that our evidence leaders were not capacitated as they should have, because right now, even if we just ask for a timeline, we're not going to be able to get it. And that is the very basics of starting to be able to write a report. And it is going to be very embarrassing for us to go back and ask for another extension. I also support the fact that the staff are also tired, and there is the double amount of work. So perhaps we should look at having a recess and then pick up again in terms of completing the deliberations and the report. I mean, as things stand now, it would be nice for us to get a draft report, and at least each political party will understand, how it's going to be structured, and we can get our technical teams to start looking at it and combing through all the information, etc., that we have. And then in terms of the issue that was raised about additional witnesses, I didn't know, or I might not have been logged on when we spoke about the Inspector General. I don't know how far we are with that. But in terms of the issues of both the judiciary and the correctional services, look, we had, at some points, Chair, we had made a decision that as evidence comes up that's implicating anybody in those, both the correctional services and both in the judiciary, then we must make a submission and say, okay, this person needs to come before us because it was raised X, Y, and Z, or whatever the issue may be. So again, if we just go on the broad base of we must have correctional services and we must have the judiciary, or we must have the NPA, we've long passed that. So we must be able to say, this person needs to come because they need to answer in relation to this, this, and this. This was the evidence. And we had done that resolution a long time. So it's a bit unfair to say that we haven't completed our work because it was on us to be able to make those submissions on who in the judiciary must appear before us, who in correctional services must appear before us, and what it is we need or information we need from them. But having said that, as we close and we are not going to take any further submissions, it doesn't stop us from writing to whoever we need to write to and ask them, as we've been doing, ask them specific questions which they need to respond to in a statement, and that can assist us going forward. And that might be the way on how we can deal with all the information that is coming in now. And I think we must also just be cognitive that even if we do extend and we say, okay, we've got a whole lot of new information that has come before us, and we get an extension and we hear that, by the time there's always going to be something new that is going to come up. So at some point, we just need to make a decision that we have to close. I mean, the spilling of beans amongst and throwing each other under the bus and amongst the criminal justice institutions, it's happening, and it's going to continue happening from what we see for a long time. Looks like they're going to all lock each other up, and so be it. But we'll be there. Let us complete our work going forward. So I do think we must just be realistic in terms of the date, and perhaps let's take a breather and also allow the staff to take a breather. Unless we're going to go and ask the speaker to give us a staff that are fresh and frisky and haven't been part of this process for such a long time to start and assist in helping prepare the report. But it's not, and we want to produce a quality report. There's going to be a lot of deliberations and debate, as we had in the terms of reference, so we must be alive to that. And thank you, Chair, that's our input.
Honorable Mnango.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chairperson. Good afternoon to honorable colleagues.
Good afternoon to you and welcome.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. If actually somehow I get cut off, it's because I'm not static. I'm just moving around because I'm in a hospital environment here. Honorable Chair, I think in principle we are in agreement with the set date in May, notwithstanding the issues that colleagues are actually raising, which are really very real in the sense that they may actually have some impact on the date that we actually are targeting for at this point in time. But for the sake of us having a particular target date, I think we need to have the 14th of May and work towards achieving it. If there are unforeseen, developments, then we will be able to see how we actually mitigate against those. But going back to ask for an extension will actually be very embarrassing, to say the least. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Sols. Honorable Vessels.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chair, I agree with previous speakers as well. I don't think this timeline is realistic, although we would want to finish this task and get a report out there and have it make some difference. But I don't think we should rush it. I don't think it's possible, humanly possible, as it has been said by Honourable Breitenbach as well. I think we should be more realistic and ask for an extension that will allow us to complete the report, and that it does not, at the end of the day, just ends up being a rubber stamp exercise. I think we should prevent that, and I think this timeline will rush us to such an extent that we won't be able to deliberate, and it won't be a well thought through report. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable James.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, we support the report with reservation. It seems really cramped. And also, we've always said that we need to get back to South Africans. South Africans are waiting for us to conclude. But in all honesty, I don't think we should rush this process, right? There are many other realities also, like mentioned by Honorable Breitenbach and Honorable Mates, also that we need to take into consideration. I think we just need to give it our best shot, do what we can. I'm not even sure how. I'm trying to apply my mind to this, and I think we'll be better equipped after we've had our workshop, actually, in terms of how this is going to unfold. When I see 13, 14, 15, I'm asking myself, is this the entire day? Is this half a day? So in the absence of additional information and in the absence of the members being workshopped in terms of how this is going to unfold and what type of input is needed, we support the report, Chair. Thank you. With reservation.
Nicolette.
Thank you very much, Chair. I have, through the meeting, I've just quickly relooked dates, and if the committee requires, I can present alternative dates that will not take us far into the future, which will take the recess and budget process into account, if allowed, Chair.
The dates that you presented here, ending on the 14th of May, do not take those into account.
No, Chair. It does not take that into account, and based on the same time frame, but if the committee starts, let's say on the 11th of May, after we've completed the budget hearings and reporting to the NA, that will take the committee up to the 10th of June. And again, if we do not make adverse findings against a specific person, and thus triggering a response, but that is up for the committee's decision, then we could even adopt the report by the 22nd of May. And Chair, honorable members, maybe I must just quickly show this on the screen for members to have a better look at the alternative dates. As I say here, the taking the recess and budget process into account, this will be the alternative dates that could be considered. That we start on the 11th of May. Chair, let me rather get the calendar view. That we have the recess period that is running from the 7th of April up until the 20th of April. From the 21st of April, we'll have the whole budget process up until the 8th of May. And then immediately preceding that, we will start the concluding remarks by Senior Counsel on the 11th of May, having the deliberations on the hearings on the 12th, 13th, and 14th of May. We will then have a report or draft preliminary report on the 18th, considered by members on the 19th, 20th, and 21st. And on the 22nd, we adopt the preliminary report and circulate it to the affected persons. We must then give 7 working days for the response, consider the response, and then ultimately adopt on the 10th of June. Chair and members, but that is only an alternative proposal made, which will really include the recess and the budget process into account. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members.
Andile.
Yes, Chairperson.
Yes, I want to hear your views.
Yes, Chairperson. Look, this is an alternative which colleagues, had also prepared as part of giving the full package, to the members so that members can make their own determination. Thanks, Chairperson.
Okay, I'm going to re-rotate because the meeting does not seem to be coming with a clear way forward or statement of agreement on what do we need to do. Maybe even before I rotate, I should advise the meeting that instead of us saying we may need to extend with more time, can we agree to work towards that date, and from time to time when we meet, we can make an assessment of the progress that we were making. If it is difficult for us to say the 15th of May, can we agree to work towards that date and see if we succeed or not? I'm circulating. I think honorable members have heard the inputs that each of the members made on these matters and what the responses of the content and the legal teams are. Can I re-rotate this item to hear from you what your take is? The African National Congress.
Thank you, Chair. The Honorable Nduli will go first, and I'll come in after him. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and thanks to the team for bringing up alternative dates. I just want to make one or two observations, Chairperson. The first one is that with regard to the amended dates, which are taking us to the end of May or somewhere towards the second week of June, I can see that the entirety of April is being cancelled as a period at which no work is going to be done. It's just say recess up until, if you look at, we have the whole month starting tomorrow. Of course, I understand that we've got Good Friday this coming weekend, and those who must go to church will have to do so. And then we block the entirety of April and say recess. I don't think that is acting responsibly. We can't contradict one another, we contradict ourselves. On one hand, we're arguing that we have been doing a great job, fully supported by the entirety of our population, because of what has emerged on the work of that committee. And so, no doubt, this population is expecting us to provide some recommendations about how to remedy the current situation. And then again, we stand up ourselves and we say, but give us a month to rest. We are tired now. We need the entire month of April to rest before we can start putting together the report. I cannot understand that logic, Chairperson. If the argument is that we are tired, I can't accept that we're going to be tired. We need the whole 30 days for us to rest. My own view is that we must keep the deadline of the second week of May. and get the work to be done. When we are closer to that deadline, in circumstances where the work has not been concluded, there might have been some problems along the way, some transcripts are not available, somebody falls sick who had a big job in the writing of the report, many things along the way. We get advised that the work is proceeding, but we think that we may have to extend by another week or two in order to accommodate the following unforeseen circumstances. But to just leave a long, winding timeline that we must now go and focus on budgets, which I agree. Budgets are very involved, very demanding. You get into focusing on budget from the 12th of May, when the budget of the is it not defense, the Justice Committee is the first budget vote to be considered by the House. And so throughout the month of May up until the last budget on the 3rd of June, we would be engaged with the budget processes. But I don't think it is justified for us to, even before we start doing the write-up of the report, we make a conclusion that this time is not enough. Sure, all of us will have our own views about how this matter must be handled, who should be doing what. We must consult our legal teams. We must do all that which we need to do to ensure that we produce a quality report. I do want to qualify my point that the ANC has no intention to see this committee producing a poorly drafted report. But we can't make that decision even before the work of drafting report begins. And I think I need to make it very clear that the ANC will not support an extension in the House, which is as a result of what is being said in this meeting that no, let's just extend beyond the budget. The ANC won't vote in support of that position. We are of the view that let's allow the work to begin. And if by the end of April, I mean, Nicolette has made another point here, which was important, that it may very well be that by the end of April, we're going to be done with this process. And yet, of course, an important question was raised by Honorable Sangoni about this, the right to reply. And she wanted to clarify under what circumstances we may be confronted by that. But if you take what the report was saying, the initial proposal, the first proposal in this meeting, it was saying if we are not going to have anybody being entertained who must respond because there are adverse findings against them, we would be done by the end of April. Now, to enlarge the period up until June, no, I have to be honest, Chairperson. I don't think that the longer the time, the more the quality of the report. I think the more people who are going to be drafting a report engage with that exercise in earnest immediately after the Easter weekend, the better. And then they advise us at the end of the recess, which is the end of April, and they come back to you and they say, look, this is how far we've gone. We think that we need another week or two or whatever the case may be. I would prefer that we take that approach, but to simply say, no, let's wait until June, I think it's important for me to indicate that the ANC would not vote for that position in the House. And that must never be construed to suggest that we want a report that is of less quality. Quality cannot be dependent only and exclusively on the time made available. Let the work begin, and along the way, we too have a responsibility to ensure there's quality of our outcome. Along the way, we can be convened and be told, in 30 days' time from today, we can be convened and be told that it's 30 days since the team has been working on the report. This is where the work has gone to, and there's a proposal that we need more time so that we can have something we can explain. But to say the entirety of the recess, no work to be done, we are tired and sitting at home. I mean, this process has been very exhausting, but I don't think that ANC members are going to be sitting at home now that there's a recess. His constituents' work and many other political work of the organization, no one is going to be sitting literally at home. Lastly, Chair, and I'm making this point because in all other forums in Parliament, Chief Whip's Forum, Rules Committee, there is a protest that the work of the ad hoc committee is compromising the work of two other committees of Parliament. which is a committee on police and the portfolio committee on justice. I think we need to be cognizant of that. And I don't think that we should simply enlarge our own period on the basis that we assume within a month the team is not capable of producing a quality report. We are not going to be drafting a report. We'll be engaging with the draft. And I think let's give the team a benefit of a doubt that within 30 days they can conclude this work. And I want to insist on the proposal I was making earlier on, which I can see nobody seems to entertain. At the beginning of this process, some among us were very militant that the extent to which we are prepared to get into the root of this problem, who are ready to meet on Mondays, who are ready to meet using weekends. We've never done that. Why can't we do it now? Why can't we do it now? Because that was a provision made by us. There was a very bold commitment to that direction. Now we're drafting a report. South Africans are waiting for our own recommendation. The least we can do to demonstrate our commitment to these South Africans is to work overtime and produce a report for them to entertain and decide whether the work we were doing was worth the time we spent on it. So that is the comments I wanted to make, Chairperson, on this matter. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chief Whip, Honorable Sangoni.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair. I think by and large, the Chief Whip has covered me. There's nothing that I really want to add, except to say, Chairperson, the reason, and this is where the Chief Whip ended off, the reason why we are pushing for a conclusion of this process is largely because of the impact that it has on the Portfolio Committee of Justice and the Portfolio Committee on Police. Now, for example, I looked at it's just unfortunate that that alternative presentation has not been put in there. I know, for example, that the portfolio committee that I chair has got budget vote on the 12th of May, if I'm not mistaken, and we have a lot of work to do. But that is why, Honorable Chairperson, you have alternates, and that is why I think if needs be, we need to make a request to the Speaker of Parliament to beef up the staff component as it relates to the work that needs to be done, especially in supporting justice and the Portfolio Committee on Police. When we signed up for this process, we knew that we remained members of Parliament. We knew that we had other responsibilities, but we committed to putting this work first to ensure that it is completed. So it can't be that now the excuse for us is that, no, there's other work. We've always had other work. Other portfolio committees have also suffered because their members are sitting in the ad hoc committee. So I think, like the Chief Whip has said, Honorable Chairperson, we really don't want this process to stretch out any longer than it does. There are options on the table. There are longer hours that we may utilize. We take into account the fatigue that has raised. It's one of the reasons why we were the first to support, for example, a request from the evidence leaders that Advocate Zigalala is brought in and any other support that may be required. And I would really wish to implore, Chairperson, that in your engagement with the Speaker, you make a request for an additional staff component to either support this portfolio committee or alternatively support Justice and the Police Portfolio Committee to ensure that their work is done. So, maybe let me stop there, Chair. I think the Chief Whip has outlined our position properly. Thank you, Chair.
MKP.
Thank you, Chair. I think, Chair, for me, the issue of rush as Mkhonto Wesizwe Party, I don't think it will help us. Hence, I still believe that this work of an ad hoc committee is a parliamentary work. It's as important as any other committees. I know that some of us, we are members of the portfolio committee. We sit there, and unfortunately, our chair is with us here, or fortunately, our chair is with us here. But indeed, we need a complete, comprehensive report on what we're doing in the last 6 months. But for us to be in rush because there's other job in Parliament, we are 400 members in Parliament. And I guess others, like the Honorable Sangoni said, we've got alternates as well. But for us to be rushing again Hence, I'm saying we have the Justice Committee here as part of this ad hoc committee with the Police Portfolio Committee and Correctional Service, inverted commas. But we've done nothing about that. I'm still saying it, Chair, here. I don't want us to be hiding this thing. That we've done nothing when it comes to the judiciary. We've done nothing to the Correctional Service. Now, because of rights, because of these other issues that, other portfolio committees are suffering. So the job which we are doing is incomplete anyway. Whether we finish in June, whether we finish in May or at the end of April, it's immaterial. We have scratched the surface. I'm still insisting on that, Chair, here. That as Mkondo Wesizwe, I'm saying it boldly so. To say we have not completed our job. We have not completed our job. But because we have to finish, because of all these other factors which some members are raising here, we'll finish the job, but it must be known that we are not finished. In my view, out of 100%, we've done 40 to 45%. We still have matters, even in the police, which are outstanding, because we did not agree on other matters. And they came sharply towards the end of the ad hoc committee meetings. Now, it's like we are selective. Some animals are more equal than the others. Some people are untouchable because of time. But if I was a speaker, I will give this core committee another 5 months or 6 months for that matter to finish the job. Because this issue of the judiciary and correctional service, I'm still saying it, Chair, here, that we've done nothing. So in my view, Chair, in closing, I'm saying, whatever the committee decides, Chair, we must know that we have not done justice to our people. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, Honorable Ntuli is already talking about if we don't finish by the end of April or mid-May, then, we can come and ask for another 2 weeks. It's getting embarrassing. Why don't we decide how long we need, realistically, and then ask for that, and then stick to it? It's not to do with we'll have time to waste and people are going to sit at home and do nothing. No one's sitting at home doing nothing. We're all very busy. If anyone's sitting at home doing nothing, I'd like the recipe. We've got elections coming up. We've got a whole lot of things happening. No one's sitting at home doing nothing. There's no days off for members of parliament, and we all know that. But it's very brave for us to say, we can work harder and we can work longer and we can do more hours. We're not the people writing the report. We're not the people preparing for the budget debates and the APPs. Those people are the same people who are writing the report. And they're only 24 hours in a day, and they are only human. So when precisely do we expect them to do all this work? It's not humanly achievable. Nobody wants to get this done more than me. But to expect the staff to be able to produce this report, plus the Justice Committee budget work, plus the Police Committee budget work, plus the APPs, those are the same people. So realistically, how are they supposed to do it? It's not us that are going to do it. I'm happy to work 5 or 6 or 7 days a week. It's not a problem. But I'm not the person writing the report. And if we look at how we debate, Chair, then 3 days for deliberations is woefully insufficient. Woefully. We will not get done. And then we are going to go and ask for another extension. That is a position I would like to avoid. So I do not think that that is achievable. I remain in that position. Thank you, Chair. Not for more witnesses, not for more evidence, to write a proper report, debate it properly.
The EFF.
Thank you, Chair. So the new dates that Ms. Nicolette presented, it looks like she's only allocated like 3 days for us to sit and review. I do not think, number one, that is even doable. And again, I refer us back to when we did just the terms of reference. So maybe we must go back and see how many days we spent just on the terms of reference. Again, I want to state the EFF position that we are not going to rubber stamp a report from evidence leaders and from the technical team in Parliament. So whatever draft report you give, we are going to go, we're going to dig hard, we're going to come back, and we are going to deliberate. So it's not going to be a rubber stamp report. Also, the issue of saying if there is adverse findings, there is going to be, so it must be a given that there are going to be adverse findings, and that must be catered into with the dates. I agree with Honorable Sangoni about we must get more support staff for the committees, perhaps for police and justice. But I don't know if Parliament is going to release any resources for these committees to continue operating effectively. When we couldn't even get a basic forensic investigator and we couldn't even get a psychologist. We had women breaking down there crying and there was not even an ambulance on standby. So for us to say, Chief Whip of the ANC, Honorable Ntuli, that we must go with the 14th, and then if we are not pushing and it's not looking good, we must go back and ask for another extension. I don't think it's going to work. I think we must just say close it for the end of May, but let's push the dates that we try and conclude by the 14th. But these days already on this new proposal of 3 days for a review, and if there's adverse finding, it's not going to work. But either way, we need an extension. If we want to go back and look clumsy as a committee, which some parties are used to just being clumsy like that, there's nothing we can do. It's fine. I don't think it's a deal breaker in that regard. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Mwango. Honorable Vessels.
Yeah, I'm here.
Honorable Sols.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, with regard to, I think first we must be very clear with the statements that MK is making. We cannot celebrate the irresponsible actions on the last day as something productive and efficient. That's number one. And then I agree with the Honorable Breitenbach. We should be considerate around the human resources that we have and the parliamentary calendar. So I'm for putting in all the time, just as the Honorable Ntuli has said as well, that we need to show commitment to finishing and putting in the time. But to balance that two contributions out is to say, let us show that commitment, but also with consideration of the staff that has to do that. And then, but move for extension, give enough time for the staff to do a draft report and enough time for us to deliberate and debate. That's my contribution. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you so much, and welcome, Honorable Sols.
Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Vessels.
Thank you, Chairperson. No, I remain concerned that it's not attainable. It's not possible. And I hear what the Honourable Chief Whip is saying, but I think the point that should be taken is the fact that less than 50% of the transcripts have been received. And that also plays a significant role. I don't think it should be about our availability as members. I think firstly, it's about the staff, it's about the legal team, it's about drafting the report. and processing the evidence, and then it is about allowing sufficient time for deliberations. But I do agree with the Honourable Breitenbach. We should rather now not be unrealistic and say, let's take it up until end of April and see where we are, and then we ask for an extension. We sit with the facts in front of us. We know what the situation is with the transcripts. We know what the program is. We know what needs to be done still. And I don't think there's any reason why we should now try to do something that is unattainable and unrealistic and then just get egg on our faces at the end of May, where we then, in any event, will have to ask for an extension, because I can guarantee you, Chairperson, that that is what's going to happen and going to transpire. Let's do it now, and let's have a realistic timeline that allows enough time to deliberate and allows enough sufficient time for the staff and the support staff to compile the report. Thank you, Chair.
Honourable James.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not even sure what more needs to be said here. We've expressed our opinion on the matter, and I guess we support the view of Honourable Breitenbach. I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Chair.
Nicolette.
Chair, thank you very much for allowing me to come in. Chair, definitely, the way we have set out the dates is that we will have the concluding remarks by the council and then the workshop by the legal team. Then the committee will go into deliberations. We will, after that, draft the preliminary report capturing the deliberations, and then only will the preliminary report be drafted and then considered by the committee. So the hearings or the deliberations by members will precede the first initial draft. And then the draft will happen, and after that, members will deliberate on the draft report. I just want to clarify that. Thank you, Chair.
Andile.
No, Chairperson, I align myself with what Nicolette has just said. Thanks.
Okay. We have rotated.
Chair, I wanted a point of clarity, Chair, because we were mentioned here and we didn't know what it's Saul saying about MK Party. Can you please clarify? We are lost.
Clarify what?
No, you are saying MK doesn't agree with MK Party. So we don't know what does he not agree with.
Oh, Honourable Thoughts, Honourable Skosana says he wants clarity on what you disagree on.
I was saying, Chair, that based on MK's comments, we cannot be celebrating the foolishness of MK on the last day
Chair,
of our hearings.
Point of order, Chair. Point of order.
So that's my clarity.
Saul cannot call MK Party foolish. Again, he's doing the same thing.
I'm calling
Chair,
you foolish.
Can you call him to order?
I'm calling you foolish. You did it. You are foolish. What you did on the last day. You wanted clarity. I'm giving my clarity. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, I'm not going to accept this. Can he retract those things? I'm not going to say, I'm not going to repeat myself, because if he wants to be personal, he must take it outside the core committee. He cannot call us foolish and calling MKK foolish. If he does not agree, if he is feeling hit under the collar for whatever reason, we're not going to entertain his gimmicks here. Because he's furious about nothing. He's furious about nothing. He's the one who said many things which we never said it. He's himself. He must blame himself. Please, Chair.
I'm not
going
furious.
to accept
I'm
that.
not furious. You asked for clarity, I'm giving you clarity.
Honorable Sols.
Please, Chair,
Yes.
please.
Yes, Chairperson.
The honorable member is requesting that you withdraw your statement.
Chairperson, I'm not furious, neither am I hot under the collar. The honorable member asked for clarity. I provided it. I maintain Honorable Skosana was foolish on the last day of the committee. I will not withdraw.
If it does not want to withdraw, I'm going to respond now here, and I'm not going to withdraw too. It's because of what is happening today, of what he did himself. Today we are busy with another agenda. He's talking about something else, which himself he must blame. His own president must blame him. He's the one who named his president and his deputy president here. It's not me. It's not me. They gave us the affidavit, yeah. And General Mkwanazi brought it as well. Now he's trying to be protecting his party. I'm not going to entertain nonsense here, Chair. I'm not going to entertain Mrutu Atsotsi here. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable, he said he is not withdrawing, and I just wanted to give you an opportunity to say what you want to say, so that the meeting can proceed. Okay, thank you so much.
And your plan is not working. The plan that they had is not working. How that affidavit got to Mkwanazi was through the MK.
Can you please reprimand Sols?
You were foolish. Your plan is not working.
Honorable
Chair, please. You know, I think General Mkwanazi was right that we've got some tax in Parliament. He's one of those taxes. Thank you.
Bring evidence, Honorable Skosana. Stop making allegations. You are foolish.
Honorable members, let's do this. Let's proceed with the meeting, because it's very clear. You are very clear on your intentions. Honorable
He's very clear. I'm not there, Chair. Me, I was quiet. I was quiet, Chair. Don't bring me into sound.
Yeah, okay. Let's allow the meeting to go ahead. This is what is going to happen, because we rotated the matter twice, and you remember that the speaker has given us until the 30th of April, and in this meeting it emerges that there is no agreement on which date can be the possible end date for the committee. So as it stands now, we will work until the date that the speaker has given, because honorable members are saying, if we request for an extension and it does not work, we look very clumsy. So let's put the matter of extension aside and allow the committee support team to go and do the work. And then they should be able to come back to us. Maybe what we can do, we can check with Nicolette as to when can she come back to report the progress that has been made to the committee. And at that time, the committee can be able to, on the basis of the progress that would have been presented, the committee can be in a position to make a determination to say, Chair, when you go back to the speaker, go to her and tell her that this is the amount of work that has been done. And we think that if we are given X number of days, it will help us to conclude our work. And secondly, I heard members when they said we must go to the speaker and advise the speaker to provide additional support to the committees that will be affected by the situation in which we find ourselves. Thirdly, the members are saying it overwhelmingly in this meeting that the hearings have come to an end. The committee is not going to call any further witness before it. The committee has made a decision that the witnesses that it has listened to were the last witnesses. And if there is any other additional information that committee wants, the committee can write to specific persons for clarity, seeking answers, and other things. For now, honorable members, the deadline we have is the 30th of April, and we're unable to agree on a date which we think can be the end date for the committee, given that we don't have any basis to make such a decision. Number one, there is no report available before us. Number two, there are some transcripts which are still missing. There are two important points that have been made by the Chief Whip and Honorable Breitenbach. Honorable Breitenbach has said that parties will be starting with local government election campaign. We don't want to have a situation where we no longer have members available here because their parties have deployed them to organizational activities. Number two, about the people of South Africa in whose name we serve. And this is the point that Honorable James emphasized in one of our previous meetings, to say the report of the committee should be made available on time, so that we don't have a situation where people even lose interest and end up resigning from the whole process and say, in any event, we knew this is the Parliament of South Africa, this is how they do this process. So let's work on those deadlines the Speaker has provided. When we go back to her to report to her, we should be able to say the deadline you have given us, this is the work that has been done, and we think we have concluded our work, or we have not concluded. But here, at the stage where we find ourselves, Speaker, we think we can be able to tell you on which day or date do we think we can be able to conclude our work. Is that okay, honorable members?
Agreed, Chair. Agreed.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Chair, we are not rotating. We agree, Chair. Thank you. Otherwise, if you rotate, you get a tag again there. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, honorable members. The last part that you said, I don't agree with, Honorable Skosan. You know my standpoint on all these matters. In the meeting that I chair, I do not have the power to make any member withdraw what they have said. But in a meeting where I'm the chairperson, I always feel that we have to respect each other. That is what make each one of us great. We are going to move to the next items. Can I check, Mr. Tejana, is it due presenting the item?
Yes, Chairperson. Chairperson, without any further ado.
How many? May you please tell the members how many items you are presenting?
No, it's correspondence. It's three. The one from Mr. Matlala's lawyer.
Yeah, is 1, 2, 3.
Correct, Chairperson.
1, 2, 3 correspondences. Yeah.
Correct.
Thank you. You can start now.
Okay, Chairperson. Chairperson, I'll start with the correspondence from Mr. Matlala's lawyer. Chairperson, on the 19th of March 2026, we received correspondence from Mr. Vusimuzi Matlala's legal representatives, Hlau Maluleke Attorneys Incorporated. In the said correspondence, a special power of attorney signed by Mr. Matlala in Coxted is attached, dated the 13th of January 2026. Chairperson, at the heart of this correspondence is the allegation that the committee made use and relied on WhatsApp communications purportedly received from Mr. Matlala's devices, and that the committee further made use of and relied on WhatsApp communication purportedly sent by or received from Mr. Matlala's device by other witnesses on their devices. Chairperson, you will recall that Mr. Matlala appeared before this committee on the 26th and 27th of November 2025, and his sworn statement is self-explanatory insofar as these text messages are concerned. In this regard, we draw the committee's attention to certain excerpts in his affidavit which deal with these text messages, particularly from paragraph 40 to paragraph 71. I'll start with paragraph 40, Chairperson. I'll just read 3 paragraphs, 40, 41, and 71. So at paragraph 41, and this is the affidavit which Mr. Matlala deposed to the committee. I've been furnished with a bundle of WhatsApp communication between myself and Brown Mkhotsi by the evidence leaders, which I believe were taken from the statement of Lieutenant General Khumalo before the Madlanga Commission. The WhatsApp bundle is attached as VM4. At paragraph 41, the affidavit reads, I've been asked to comment in relation to these text messages and hereby provide my comments as follows. Now, Chairperson, at paragraph 71, he says, I wish the committee to take note that the comment is restricted to the messages I can recall. I submit the ones we can't comment to at this stage have either been manipulated and or altered, and I therefore cannot comment thereon. The point we're making, Chairperson, is that Mr. Matlala commented and engaged with the text messages under review before this committee, voluntarily in the presence of his legal representative. Importantly, he did so willingly, independently, and without external coercion. Furthermore, you will recall that General Khumalo had appeared before the Madlanga Commission prior to making his appearance before this committee. Below, we provide an excerpt of General Khumalo's affidavit, which he presented before the Madlanga Commission. Paragraph 79 of the said affidavit reads as follows. I have been advised to take the commission through a series of WhatsApp chats extracted from the phones of Mr. Vusimuzi Matlala, one of the leaders of the 5 organized crime syndicates forming the criminal cartel known as the Big Five. The consent form for the seizure and extraction of contents of the devices signed by Mr. Matlala is annexed as SDK10. The annex referred to by General Khumalo in his affidavit to the Madlanga Commission is an SAP 21 form, which is a consent to search computer and or electronic equipment with or without a search and seizure warrant. This document was signed by Mr. Matlala on 14 May 2025. The point we're making, Chairperson, is that Mr. Matlala's legal representatives have their facts crossed and they are backing up the wrong tree. Accordingly, this meeting should authorize us to write to them and set the record straight. So that's our recommendation, Chairperson.
Okay, Mr. Tejana.
Yes, Chair.
Before we rotate, what is your recommendation on each of the 3 correspondences?
No, Chair, I've just presented one. I was going to move to number 2. This one, Chair, I think Okay, this one, Chair, I think all was...
Just go through all of them, and
okay.
at the end you say, with regard to number one, this is the recommendation for the meeting to consider. Number two, this is the recommendation, and number three as well.
Okay, Chairperson, perhaps let me move to the second one. Chairperson, you will recall that we wrote a letter to the Acting Minister of Police regarding the issue of a consultation between himself and the suspended IGI, Inspector General of Intelligence. And you will recall, Chairperson, that there was a proposal from members themselves that perhaps because we're dealing with an incumbent who has been suspended, the advice we got from members was that perhaps in our correspondence, we should propose that the information which the committee would like to have sight of should be declassified. So what has happened, Chair, is that the Acting Minister of Police has addressed correspondence to the committee dated the 19th of March, 2026. And in his correspondence, Chairperson, if I may just be brief, I don't want to waste your time. The minister accepts that he is in possession of the classified report. And the minister says, having gone through our terms of reference, particularly paragraph 2.13 to 2.19, he thinks that for purposes of on a need to know basis, Chairperson, he can give the committee that classified report. You will recall, Chair, that classified report, amongst others, deals with procurement of properties by Crime Intelligence Division of SEPS, including the procurement of the Veros Boutique Hotel, the security vetting of Major General Madondo, and the appointment of Brigadier Mukwele within SAPS Crime Intelligence. So what the acting minister is saying, Chair, is that if the committee can follow the protocol, which is reflected under its terms of reference from paragraph 2.13 to 2.19, the minister would not be opposed to this committee having sight of it, Chairperson. But of course, the committee will have to decide on a date because, as you know, Chair, this information must be under lock and key. Committee members, unfortunately, not alternates or co-opted members, will have to be given a venue, Chairperson, to sit there with this report. And of course, depending on how big it is, members must be given an ample opportunity to go through it. And of course, Chairperson, that we would need dates in terms of availability for members of the committee. That concludes my second one, Chairperson, because that's the gist of it. I mean, other issues, Chairperson, there's no need for me to repeat them. I think that's the crux of it. The third one, Chairperson, I'm looking for it now because but a lot of things happening over my desk here. The third one, Chairperson, we received Chairperson correspondence from the attorneys of Ms. Sarah Jane Trent, dated the 23rd of March, 2026. Ms. Sarah Jane, you'll recall, Chairperson, that she appeared before yourselves on the 5th of March. And I think the purpose of the correspondence is to have her oral testimony, which was given on the 5th of March, declared invalid, struck from the record of oral evidence hearings, and for any transcription to be declared pro non-scripto, as not written. And she says, the Chairperson, that she was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder as early as 2017. And on the day in question, she was so overwhelmed such that she suffered a secondary trauma, which led to complete helplessness, on her part, in other words, re-traumatization. and that she has sought a forensic psychologist who she mandated to carry out an analysis of a condition and produce a report to that regard. She says, Chairperson, on the day she was unable to concentrate, to understand or follow the questions, and was unable to answer questions in a cogent manner. She even makes allegations, Chairperson, that she was held against her will. Chairperson, our recommendation here is that, look, we are worried about the fact that, Chairperson, remember, let's talk about the personality involved here first. This is an admitted attorney, Chairperson of the High Court, so we're not talking about, yes, she's on the non-practicing role because she's not practicing. We're not talking about just any person from the street. There were consultations, Chairperson, which took place between her and our evidence leaders, not once, not twice, on numerous occasions. And she had an attorney, assisting her, Mr. Daryl Fuhrman. And even the affidavit which she put together, which is now part of the record of the committee proceedings, is work which is a product of her consulting with the attorney, which is Mr. Fuhrman, and also consulting with evidence leaders. The difficulty with this, Chairperson, is that we're apprehensive about it because our view is that if we start getting an avalanche of letters like this, people saying, yeah, look, the evidence I presented to you because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it must be excised and so on, we will end up not having a report in front of us. And we think that even though, Chair, this is quite a difficult one, but we think that, Chairperson, the only competent forum which can excise or which can force us to excise evidence is a competent court of law. And Chairperson, that's our recommendation. That, in fact, even the report from the forensic psychologist, we have not even received it 8 days after she wrote to us. But our recommendation, Chairperson, is that we should be very much circumspect of people appearing before us and then writing to the committee and saying that the evidence should be excised. But look, we're not on a good, she is not on a good wicket, Chair, because, as I say, even the report that she makes reference to, that she's still seeking, is not objectively and factually before the committee. I'll end with that, Chairperson. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Tejana. Let me rotate the African National Congress.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Chairperson, despite you asking for the recommendation from Mr. Tekiane as it relates to Mr. Matlala's letter, I don't think that he was very explicit on what the recommendation is. But nonetheless, I will put the view of the African National Congress as it relates to Mr. Matlala's letter. Now, how we understand it, and I stand to be corrected if I'm wrong, is that Mr. Matlala is asking for details relating to the text messages that the committee would have considered that relate to him. He's obviously concerned about the chain of custody and whether those messages were properly received, stored, and everything that relates to chain of evidence. Now, our view is that the committee did not collect that information. It was information that was presented to the committee. And it can't be for the committee to have to supply that to Mr. Matlala. Mr. Matlala is well within his rights to seek such information from the South African Police Services, who would have been the people who would have provided that information to the committee. I don't think that whether it relates to the integrity of his data, we have any view beyond what was supplied to us in affidavits by the witnesses that would have appeared before us. So as the ANC, we don't see what the role of the committee is really in that regard. If he wants to challenge the text messages that were put before us by the witnesses, we think that that is something that he needs to take up with the South African Police Services or the witnesses concerned. But that is the evidence before us. I mean, we take note of the odi alteram partem principle, saying that if there's anything that he then wishes to raise with us, because you can see just from the tone of the letter, the intention is to probably challenge the authenticity of those messages, and that is not something that we as a committee are able to determine. But perhaps when Mr. Tekiana comes back and explains what his recommendation is, he can speak to our understanding as the ANC. On the issue of the letter from the Minister of Police, Chairperson, our view is that, and I think it's something that we've maintained right throughout these proceedings, that it's important that to an extent possible, we should always seek to uphold and proceed in line with the prescripts of the law. Now, if the suspended Inspector General of Intelligence had no security clearance as a result of his suspension, we do believe that the law indicates that he has no access to those documents. Now, we made a request as the ANC that we request a declassification of those documents. If the minister has made an undertaking that says, despite his rejection of declassification of those documents, he's willing to put the documents before the committee to be considered in line with the protocols that we had discussed right at the beginning of our commencement as a committee, which processes were outlined to all of us, and I think we understood them insofar as who may see the documents, being the full members of the committee, how those documents must be seen. As the ANC, we accept that recommendation, and we would avail ourselves then at a date and time and place to be specified for the committee to be able to inspect the documents. I do want to say, Chairperson, that we also regard that as a major step forward, and I think also as a demonstration that some of the rules, regulations, legislation that we have put in place are working, because by availing those documents for us to be able to inspect, then we are taking forward what we've always said, that there shall be no cover-up. Crimes cannot be classified information, but members of parliament will be able to inspect them in line with the protocols as advised. So that we heartily welcome, Chair, and we hope that the portfolio committee will be able to consider it favorably. This issue of these properties and also issues related to the brigadiers and generals that are mentioned are very important for the work that we've been doing, especially as it relates to the use of the Secret Services account. So we would not want a situation where this is unduly delayed. Although we do want to say, Chair, that I don't know if after our last meeting you had an opportunity to engage with the chairperson of the JSCI, but I suppose that matter is now moot, because we now have an avenue as this portfolio committee to inspect these so-called classified documents, and I don't think that we should not take up that opportunity. On the letter from Ms. Sarah Jane Trent, Chair, we struggled with it a bit, because in the rules of the National Assembly, there is no provision that is made for striking off, striking from the record any evidence that has been provided to a committee of parliament. So there's no precedence of such. And while we would not at any point want to position ourselves as, psychologists or anybody, who can make a determination of Ms. Sarah Jane Trent's frame of mind, I would like to remind the Chair that during the testimony of Ms. Sarah Jane Trent, and even when she broke down, there was an attempt from myself and I think Advocate Mkhize as well to say how would she like to do it, because she was insisting that she wants to proceed. It's unfortunate that the affidavit that she now pens seems to indicate that she was coerced, forced by anybody in the committee. And after we had presented a proposal to you, Chair, you then put it to her. And I remember I specifically asked a question whether she wanted to proceed in the manner of presenting the affidavit that she had worked with the evidence leaders on and not just tell her story if that would be easier for her. And she was quite adamant that she wants to proceed. So I think it's a bit disingenuous that she would come now a couple of weeks after the fact and want to raise an issue that she may have been coerced in any manner, or she was suffering a post-traumatic stress disorder. This issue was raised with her repeatedly. And I know, for example, Honorable Kola Barnard was adamant that we should not proceed, and Ms. Sarah Jane Trent herself insisted that she wanted to proceed. So, Chairperson, given the fact that there are no provisions in the rules of Parliament, I think that we cannot, we don't have authority to say that the matter will be struck off the record. However, what we should do is to take her supplementary affidavit as part of the record, where she indicates that maybe for this reason or another reason, she may not have given us the answers that she wished she have, and we will consider that as and when we then consider her evidence, which is part of the record and remains part of the record. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
MKP.
My network, let me just get, I'm not sure whether you even hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, Honorable Skosan. The DA.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, with regards to the representations by Mr. Matlala, they're at the wrong place. We can't help them with the authenticity or otherwise of the recordings, and he should approach the people who presented them. There's nothing we can do about it. I was not there the day Ms. Trent gave evidence, but generally I agree with the proposals of the inputs of Honourable Sangani. We can't now be striking evidence off the record. In any event, I don't believe that the committee has the power to do that. So, if they want that end result, then the only option would be to take us on review. I don't believe there's any other way around that, Chair. And what was the third issue? I forget now.
The letter from the
Inspector General Minister of Police.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think we should all go and have a read that report as soon as it's possible. I think it's very, very accommodating of the minister to take that approach. And I think that those of us who are able to must make arrangements as soon as possible to read that, so that we have that information before we engage on any kind of engagement with the report or any deliberations. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Breitenbach. Honorable Matthys. Honorable Mungango.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. With regards to the first correspondence, that of Mr. Matlala, I think we will agree with the input made by Honorable Sangoni in that this committee was not the source of that information, which is now under question by his lawyers, and therefore they would need to actually go to the source, which is which is SAPS. With regards to the second correspondence, where Sarah actually is now trying to say that what she presented there actually was done under some kind of duress. I think that is devoid of any truth, because we were all there, and not once, in fact, it was a number of times where some honorable members were suggesting that perhaps she was not in a good mood to continue giving evidence, and she insisted. And there were pauses where she was allowed to go out and recollect himself, and then she came back and continued. So it cannot be that now she wants to actually then withdraw such evidence, which she actually freely gave herself. The third point is, yes, we concur with the suggestions, and that we actually as a committee go and have a look at that document, classified document, which the minister is prepared to make available to the committee to go through. The sooner we have the date, the better, so that we can actually organize our activities so that we are able to have sight of that document. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Honorable Sols.
Honorable Chair, thank you. In terms of the first one, Mr. Matlala, I agree that we are not responsible for providing those details because it was presented to us as evidence in the different affidavits from the witnesses. And it is from that basis that we interrogated that particular information. So I suppose the records of the different sittings for that need should suffice. And if they want to go in depth, they have to speak to the officials that provided that to us. On the issue of Ms. Trent, the committee can only take responsibility for what happened within our sittings. And for what happened in our sittings, which is publicly available, we were fair. It can be shown that she was not forced or coerced in her testimony. So that is there, it's available. So the committee is clear that we have not coerced her. Where the committee cannot comment as a formal structure is what happened outside of the committee sittings. In her affidavit, when she speaks about her experience in the toilet with Honorable James, claiming that Honorable James has manipulated her, calling her a strong woman there, and when she came back into the sittings, she was told by Honorable James she will crawl out of there, and she was humiliated. Now, we
Chair,
can
may
say...
I come in here, please? Point of order, because Honorable Sols is clearly out to disrupt today, and I'm not going to have it. I'm not Honorable Skosana. because you weren't in that bathroom. So you can't just come here and make allegations. You clearly have a lot on your plate, coming here to disrupt this entire meeting and trying to aggravate us.
May I continue, Honorable Chair?
He's completely out of order today.
Would you please allow the honorable member to speak, and when he's done, you can request an opportunity to say what you want to say. May you continue, Honorable Sols.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'm not making the allegations. Ms. Trent is making the allegation. And we are asked to comment on the allegations that Ms. Trent is making. So it's not me that's talking about Honorable James. So my thinking around what Ms. Trent is saying is that we can't answer for what happened in the toilet. It is only Honorable James that can answer whether or not what Ms. Trent is saying happened in the toilet is true. That she was manipulated so that she can come back to be humiliated on TV by Honorable James. We don't know whether that's true or not. It's only Honorable James that can tell us that, and Ms. Trent. So to protect the integrity of the committee, I'm saying the committee is not guilty of coercion. The public record is there. As to humiliation by Honorable James in the toilet, we can't talk on that because we weren't there. Only Honorable James can say what has happened there. Then on the third one, I do agree that we should have sight of that report, Chairperson. I thank you very much, Chair.
Honorable Vestal.
Thank you, Chairperson. I agree with all three recommendations. Nothing to add. Thank you.
Honorable James.
Thank you, Chair. Let me not breathe down anyone's neck. Chair, on the first matter, that is definitely a SAP's competency when it comes to the chain of evidence. On the second one, on the availability of the report, I don't think that I should give any input on that. The third matter, I want to say that Ms. Trent was given several opportunities to opt out, and she insisted that she was fine. Also, we must note that Ms. Trent changed her statement last minute, I think the day before, because I think she was actually being put under pressure by Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. She kept receiving calls by Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, and we do know and we recognize that she was under duress and she was traumatized. But at the end of the day, she was given the option, to excuse herself. We also cannot be striking anything off the record. She has made a bed and she needs to lie on it. As for Honorable Sols, he's not worth my time. Thank you.
Chairperson.
Chair, raise my hand. I'm not sure whether you will hear me now.
Honorable James, are you done?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chair. We still have Bafana again.
Thank you so much. Honorable Sols, is there something you want to say?
Yes, Honorable Chair. It is not my time. I think it's important for the public to know because it's on an affidavit that's put and tabled before the committee. We weren't there, so Honorable James must clarify. Did she speak to Sarah Trent in the toilet and what transpired there? We weren't there. We need to know from her so that the committee knows. Is it true that she convinced her to come to humiliate her as she alleges in her affidavit? So it's not about my time. I don't need time from Honorable James.
Honorable James, you need to respond to the statement.
Chair, I want to put on record, I was speaking to Ms. Trent. She was nervous. She told me she's nervous. She came to me because she said she's actually so nervous of me. She's afraid, she's scared. And I told her to calm down, she'll be okay. That was what the conversation was all about. And that's it. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Skosan.
I'm not sure whether you will hear me now, Chair. Am I audible?
Yes, Honorable Member, we can hear you.
A quick one, Chair. The first one, I think the issue of the lawyers, like Honorable Sangweni said, I think if I remember well, is that if we have to entertain that, Chair, I can tell you we won't move. We won't be able to finish this work which we started. Ms. Sarah Trent, I've asked, you can go as well to the Hansard. Are you fit and proper to continue with this? She agreed. Now, the Matala issue as well, the lawyers, I think the evidence leader or the evidence leaders, they've made consultation, thoroughly consultation. I don't think, Chair, we must entertain that. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you so much, honorable members. The meeting agrees with the recommendations that have been made here. And the allegation that Ms. Sarah Jane Trent and her lawyers make of an incident, a conversation which would have happened between her and Honorable James, is not the record of the committee. It's not in our records. So they cannot base their request on an incident which is not in our records. I mean, we're unable to account for something like that. When she was on record, I remember very well during those proceedings, the statement about her fitness was made by Honorable Malema. And then, and he even went to a point of saying that if the witness is not fit, we must not proceed. And the witness has been asked several times by members, including the chairperson, whether she was ready to proceed. And what I remember very well was that her lawyer tried to call the legal team, and we said, in terms of our terms of reference, a person who appears before us is a witness. If the witness wants to come with his or her lawyer, the committee agrees, but the person who appears before us is the witness. And there are witnesses that have done so, especially those coming from the SAPS. They have been coming with legal representatives. But we never had at any occasion had a lawyer speaking or a legal representative speaking in our meeting. So Ms. Trent appeared before us, and she cannot even claim to have been prejudiced. The question was put to her not once, several times, and on her own insistence, the proceedings went ahead. And I think the matter of the conversation doesn't belong to us. It was a private conversation. We cannot come and sit in a committee meeting and discuss about what people were talking about at a Bafana Bafana game. As the chair, I have never heard any one of you telling me what you were discussing during lunch or during break. So it does not belong to our records. So we're going to conclude the item on that note that the meeting agrees with all the recommendations that have been made, and proper arrangements will be made with the minister, the acting minister of police, and members will accordingly be informed. And Honorable Breitenbach emphasizes it here to say, let's have that happening before we go to consider the reports that are going to be presented before us. That has been noted and carried, Honorable Breitenbach, and thanks very much, honorable members, for your deliberations. We can now move to the next item. Bodani?
Yes, Chair.
What is the next item?
The agenda was talking about a workshop, but I think we covered that during the presentation of the proposed program. So maybe we should be moving to the minutes.
Yeah, let's move to the minutes.
Sure. We distributed 5 sets, and the first one is the 2nd of March. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6. That's the last page.
Thank you so much, honorable members. The minutes of the 2nd of March 2026 have been circulated, are presented here for adoption. Any seconder?
I second Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you so much, Honorable Mwango. Bonani?
The second one is the 4th of March. Page 1, page 2, page 3, which is the last page.
Thank you so much. This set has also been circulated, the set of the minutes of the 4th of March. We present these minutes before the committee for adoption. Any seconder? Thank you so much, Chief Whip Bonani.
Yes, the third chair, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. Page 4 is the last chair, but I think the date there is incorrect. I'll just quickly check the date, Chair.
Yeah, may you please confirm the date?
Chair, that is when we had Advocate Mansour. Yes, actually, Chair, the date is correct. Is the 4th of March. It is the correct date.
Remember, we adopted the 2nd and the 4th of March already.
No, I think the one that we adopted as the 4th of March, the previous one was supposed to be the 3rd of March. That is the incorrect one, Chair. Apologies for that.
Can we go back to the minutes of the 3rd of March and represent them if we have made a mistake?
Chair, Chair, this is the one of the 3rd of March. The date that was written here was incorrect. So that is page 1, page 2, and page 3, which is the last page, Chair.
Okay.
The 3rd of March.
Honorable members, the minutes presented here, 3 pages, 3rd March 2026. They have been circulated to you. There is a correction on the date that will be the 3rd of March. We present them for adoption. Any seconder?
I second, Chair Kusela.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sangoni. Can we go to the 4th of March, 4
The
pages?
4th of March is on the screen, Chair. Page 1, page 2, page 3, and page 4, which is the last page.
The minutes have been circulated, are presented for adoption. Any seconder?
Seconded, Chair.
Honorable James, are you calling order?
No, Chair, you asked for seconder.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bonani,
Chair, the 4th one is the 5th of March, page 1, page 2, page 3, 4, 5, and 6, which is the last page, Chair.
can we be sure about the date?
The date is correct, Chair.
And which date is that one?
5 March.
Okay. Honorable members, the minutes of the 5th of March have been circulated and are presented before the committee meeting for adoption. Any seconder?
I second, Chair Kusela.
Thank you so much. Can we move to the last set, Bonani?
Chair, the last one is on the 9th of March, page 1, 2, 3, 4, page 5, and 6, which is the last page.
Thank you so much, Bonani. Honorable members, the minutes of the 9th of March have been circulated with you, are being presented here formally for adoption. Any seconder?
I second, Honorable Chair.
Thank you so much, Pangazita. Bonani, are there any announcements?
Chair, there are no announcements at this stage.
Okay. Andile, do you have announcements? Okay. There are no announcements. Honorable Breitenbach and Honorable James have already announced the Bafana game. We wish those who will be attending the game well.
Thank you.
And unfortunately, the meeting has come to an end. Thank you so much,
That's
honorable
so
members,
bad. Thank
for the
you, Chair.
deliberation. I will make a follow-up with Nicolette and the evidence leaders to check on their readiness to come back and report before the committee on the progress they would have made. And we will also contact the office of the speaker and raise the issues that the committee has agreed on. Thank you so much. All the best in your recess.
Thank you, Chair. Mhlambe lo muntu